All right, folks, glad you're sticking with me. We're really getting our work in. You should be having a lot of fun working through all of these variations and stuff of a block, punch, and a kick and stuff. So let's keep going. What are we going to do now? We're still going to keep our theme of the forearm block, or that's our emphasis, is just to practice the forearm block and punch. So we might be throwing in a side kick now. Yep. And so I'm going a little bit slow and showing you what's happening here. Because you're in a stance and you totally can just throw the side kick, the instant side kick from the position you're in. But what that would mean is that your leg is already extended somewhat. And in an ideal kick or an ideal move, you have a good chamber first and then the kick shoots out. So it has a good dedicated distance to travel so that it can be effective and stuff. You don't want your kicks to be like the version of the 1-inch punch, not fundamentally or not over generally or usually. You're not going to get a lot of power for them. I mean, yes, it's a kick, but still, the point is, so the point is here, at least learning the fundamentals, okay, from the sparring stance that you're in, when you're going to chamber the leg to throw that instant side kick, it's going to come back a little bit. Okay, it can come back a little bit by you dragging the foot or by you lifting and bringing it straight to your body right away, or some percentage and versions or combinations of both of those, right? And that's what you're seeing me here going in slow motion, showing you that drag and stuff. So we're doing the forearm block, cross, and then lift up and do the instant side kick. Notice that dipping, notice that lean, that helps us with our angles and stuff. See how that in this particular one, see how that right hand is loaded and ready just by the dipping and the lean. Now, when we snap back that cross back to us, our body momentum coming back, moving back now as we bringing back our punch, is also the momentum we're going to use to bring back that lead foot that's going to then chamber and shoot back out as the instant side kick. Should be pretty easy for you to see. It should be pretty easy for you to feel too. It should be pretty difficult for you to be able to just throw the instant side kick from an extended stance, sparring stance or something like that. You should feel the need to your body's going to want to retract back. You're going to want to bring that leg back a bit so that you can have a better balance and stuff when throwing that. Oh, and that's good. And that's smart. That's at least what we're practicing for now. Now we're going to have some cool versions of that and stuff so that even before we do any blocking or anything, we can sort of slide, leap, or hop back and then do our block, punch, kick, or do the kick. When we're throwing the side kick, just like the how-to video that I did, we want to be mindful of our posture and the level and the planes of our torso and our shoulders, and if our shoulders are leaning or dipping forward, if our head is, if our pelvis is, the pelvic area, if all of those things are leaning forward, you're probably going to tilt forward, fall over forward, or you're going to have a tendency to be landing in that direction, landing on the side, of whatever you're dipping toward. Okay, so after we throw the instant side kick, you bring the instant side kick back down to the original position it was in the stance, and so that we maintain that stance. When we want to switch stances to practice the other side, just naturally switch for now. In the beginning, when you're starting with these drills, then we can incorporate after the throwing the instant side kick. Instead of just bringing it down, you can bring it back and then behind you into your new sparring stance, alternating. But that's a little bit more difficult to do. Keep in mind your forearm blocks can be overhead forearm blocks. When they are overhead forearm blocks, make sure that your block isn't like right next to your forehead, and make sure your block isn't very far out in front of you either, so that you can like really easily see it with your eyes, because that means it's really not high enough. So you didn't really block anything, and whatever was coming over you or to the side might make contact with your block, but one way or another it's still also going to make contact with your head. So you have to make sure that your overhead forearm blocks are high enough to actually block what's coming down on you. And the same goes for when you're doing on the side. Make sure that your blocks are at whatever angle so that they could actually block it and stuff. So think about it a little bit and you'll see. For when you're doing a forearm block on your side, if you're too low, you're not really blocking anything. You might clip the punch a little bit, but it's not doing much. And the punch is just going to go over your block or around your block, over the top of your block, from either from the side or coming straight down from the top. Right? And hopefully you're still doing these drills, right, man? You're still doing these drills, right? A block, a punch, and an instant side kick. Your block punch can happen at the same time, or they can go 1, 2, 3. See how I'm exaggerating the setting motion? This is for you to practice your balance, right? So that you back into that set position and stuff, you balance. Eventually, those set positions will happen all simultaneously, or just all very fluid. But nevertheless, they still shouldn't be cheated. If you're cheating your balance at any given moment, it also probably means that your stance or position is also poor. And poor stance and position probably means like too narrow or too wide and stuff like that, and you just can easily get knocked over, and it also sucks and eats your power away, or eats your range of motion, your mobility away. Okay, so playing with the little jab steps, stutter steps, all little fakes and feigns before. Okay, the next little variations to the same drills that we're doing is, notice how it's sort of like a side shot. Notice how it's very sneaky. So keep in mind, we're not always going to punch to the face. We want to punch mid, and then we want to punch low as well. You see how that sneaky one, or the nature of already blocking, being in that crouch, being kind of crouched down and dipped, or, keeps us low. So we can come low, we can rise high, or we can go even lower. All right, we're going to take a look at a decent, a firm one. This forearm block will be like a combo, sort of like a side forearm block and an overhead block combined. Cross, instant. Now we can start playing with some of these stuff, and notice how I'm moving backwards. So I'm retreating as the moves happen. And there's also advancing forward ones, and then there's playing with the phrases of that, and that's what we're going to take a look at right now. There we go. So we did the block within position, but you saw how we retreated back when we threw the cross. Play with all these phrases, mix and match them up, because you don't want to be a robot and say, well, once I do my combo, it's all 3, 4, 5 moves must happen. That's it. You can change them up. You can change them up mid-one. Circumstances and situations might force you to change them up. When you change them up, or when they get changed, don't be paralyzed and say, well, I'm just used to throwing the 1, 2, 3. And if something happens to the 2, well, I'm stuck. All right, so we're playing with, we're keeping in mind all the different versions of the forearm block and stuff, and in a very simplified sense, you see how if you're just keeping in that guarded position, right? These are forearm blocks. Your natural, guarded position with your arms is basically you're guarding with your arms. The forearms are a big part of that and stuff. So you're shifting and you're moving or blocking, and you have all those types of angles going from your side, your classic forearm block, your Taekwondo forearm blocks, all the way to above and over your head, which are the overhead forearm blocks. So here, I guess I'm liking that drill a little bit of doing that block first, and then doing a little retreat back, skip back, and throwing the punch and the cross as we're skipping back is fine. Practice skipping back and then doing the next set. Here, it's not only just a fake, but you see clinching your hands into your guarded position, into that sparring stance position, can also be like blocks. Keep in mind that you may take or absorb a shot from the side. Well, all right, folks, that does it for this series of videos. So I hope you really enjoyed the whole process, and love you guys, and see you guys soon.